Join us now on Flickr at flickr.com/groups/art-of-photography.
Hey everybody, welcome back once again to another episode of The Art of Photography. My name is Ted Forbes. I am your host. Lately we have had a lot of new things surrounding the podcast, and I thought it'd be well worth our time to take an episode and talk about some of these things so you don't miss out. And I've got some new announcements I want to make today. The first one right off the bat. A new thing we're going to try here with the podcast is Art of Photography Live, where I'm actually going to broadcast a series of live shows. The first being, we have the first couple rolls of film back from Holga Projects, and I'm going to do a live session where we develop one of the first rolls of film. And so this might be particularly interesting to you if you were interested in developing film on your own. And if you are, you might want to go review the podcast that we've done on that. But it'll be a live session where you'll actually see me in real time. We'll do this over Ustream. So basically the way Ustream works is you have a live video and then you have a little chat room that's in there too. So you're able to ask questions and we'll be able to get some two-way interaction going on that level, which I think is going to be pretty exciting. It's going to be a lot different than just doing a pre-recorded podcast once a week. We'll do these from time to time, and I realize this is absurdly short notice, but the first one will be day after tomorrow. Will be on Sunday. And so if you are watching this podcast too late, by the way, the date on that is Sunday, August 28th. I'm going to do it at noon Dallas time. And so if you want to know what time that is in your time zone, go ahead and go to the show page, which will be, I'll write the URL down here, it will be live.theartofphotography.tv. That's live.theartofphotography.tv. And I'll have a placeholder there so you can see what time zone that's going to be, what time it's going to be in your time zone. And I'll do that on Sunday. I'm doing it Sunday at noon here because I want to try and pick a time that, because we have kind of a global audience on this show where more people are able to participate. So anyway, if you have missed that already and you're watching this podcast too late, don't worry, because we will be doing more. Particularly with the Holga projects, I think it's real easy to do film processing on these. Gives us a chance. It's slow enough so we can kind of talk and stuff like that, and you can ask questions and all that wonderful stuff and see how processing film works. So anyway, that is going to be the live sessions. Speaking of Holga projects, I'm pretty excited the way things are working out. We've had an unbelievable response to Holga projects. I have about 500 people signed up that want to take a turn on the cameras. If you're not familiar with Holga projects, we've done several podcasts on them. Holga projects, the idea is that I'm sending 10 cameras, 10 Holgas around the world. And the whole idea is that, with the same camera and the same film setup and everything, the pictures will look different and completely with the photographer that's taking them. So what we're doing is we're passing the cameras around. It's a bit like a chain letter. So you take 4 pictures, you send it to the next person, they take 4, and eventually the film comes back to me. This will culminate in a book. It's a worldwide project. It's been pretty cool so far. We've gotten a lot of really cool interest in it. Like I said, I'm starting to get film back now. If you have a Holga and you haven't taken your shots yet, go ahead and get on it and get that film back, because we want to get those cameras around to as many people as possible, and it's going to be pretty fun. I'm pretty excited about the way this is turning out. I've had people give me donations, and thank you so much if you have donated to the project. It's expensive to do this, and the next phase of this is I'm going to try and get 10 more cameras so we can accommodate more people. We're going to take the whole summer concept off of this, because obviously it's not going to get done before the end of the summer. It's going to be probably about a year-long project. And it's going to culminate in a book when we're done. And we're trying to figure out the details on how to do that. So if you want to donate or you want more information on it, you can go to the website for that, which is just simply theartofphotography.tv. And you can get more information there on Holga projects. So basically that's where it's coming from. If you want to organize your own Holga project, and I know 500 is a lot of people and you don't want to wait, you're welcome to buy your own Holga. And if you'd like to share it with your friends, or if you would like some names and you want to start your own chain letter thing going with it, I'd be happy to supply you with that. So contact me via email or on Twitter or something, and I'll hook you up. Speaking of Twitter, I highly recommend you follow me on Twitter, and the reason is we've started some new things, and we've been doing kind of this thing called AOP Extras. And sometimes if I have an idea for something and it's like a tip, a trick, a tutorial, something like that, sometimes some thoughts on photography, I'll just turn on the camera and do it. And I've been posting these on YouTube, and these are typically smaller. They're like mini podcasts, and they really aren't meriting full episodes into this podcast feed. So that's kind of what we're doing on that. So if you follow me on Twitter, my handle is @TedForbes. Or if you just want show updates and want to know when things go up, and really it's just show updates, you can follow the show website, which is, or the show Twitter account, which is @AOP_podcast. So that's the Twitter. Also worth mentioning is the Flickr group. We post a lot of information there too, and I know I've mentioned this URL on every episode practically we've ever done, but the address on that is flickr.com/groups/art-of-photography. And we kind of have a core group of people that like to post in there and in the forums, and it's been a lot of fun. It's a great place to ask questions if you're a beginner beginner. It's a great place to share advice if you're you know, a little further along in your photography journey. And it's been a lot of fun, and we strongly encourage you to come there and join us and check it all out. And finally, I want to end the show, and this is a little bit of a somber note, and it's kind of a hard thing for me to end this on because, quite frankly, I never anticipated having to make an announcement like this. If you've been following in Flickr and on Twitter, you probably heard the news on this, or even Google+. About a year ago, last September, this was September of 2010, I did the very first Art of Photography meetup in London. And this was a very significant event for me in doing this podcast. And the reason I say that is because up to then, it's been about 2 years doing this. And it's me talking into a camera once a week and doing my preparation and showing you stuff and talking about photography. And because we had done a meetup, it changed from just being a one-way conversation for me to actually meeting some people who watch the show, and people who live in a different part of the world, but we're all kind of had this common interest in making images and taking pictures. And it really opened a new dimension to that. One of the people who showed up at this podcast was my friend Paula Butler, and Paula is a very sweet individual, and she and I had met that one time, and we kept up over email ever since. And Paula is just a wonderful human being. She organized 2 more Art of Photography meetups on her own. I was not able to attend these, but she took the initiative and had a legitimate interest in people and meeting people who watched the show and meeting people who were interested in photography and having that common bond and that common interest. At the Christmas meetup, I was told she brought minced pies and made mulled wine for everybody, which is incredibly sweet. And she scheduled the last meetup that took place in London 2 Saturdays ago. And I was not able to attend either one of these, regrettably. And I found out that Paula never made it to the meetup. And unfortunately, a couple days later, I found out the news that Paula passed away from a brain aneurysm while out jogging about a week before. And this is kind of a tough pill to swallow for a lot of us. Anyway, I think the important thing here to talk about is remembering Paula's legacy as far as just, you know, being a social person and being interactive and being really interested in people, because that's what she was. And she meant a lot to me on that level. And obviously dedicate this podcast to her. But I think more importantly, I would like to dedicate the Holga projects that we're doing to her memory. And if anybody wants to do a meetup in your city and you're willing to kind of carry on that spirit, I would encourage you to do so. I don't have the travel budget to be everywhere in the world, obviously, but I would be happy to advertise for you on this podcast should you want to do a meetup in your city. So anyway, that's about all I got for today, and I just wanted to mention that because Paula was a special person. She meant a lot to me, obviously, and I think she meant a lot to a lot of other people who watch this show too. So anyway, I wanted to tell you guys about that and share that with you. But once again, this has been The Art of Photography, and thank you for watching.